from a resident of a Dwayne Reed in NoHo. So that's off the corner of 4th and Broadway. So if you can pull that up onto the screen, he was in his apartment. He didn't want to be on camera. And you can see from this footage, looters breaking all of the glass window at a Dwayne Reed on 4th and Broadway. And now we're going to reveal the footage from this morning. So we were just at that location before coming here, completely shattered all around the corner. And the worst thing is I passed by this Dwayne Reed yesterday, and they were boarding it up from the previous night. So it got hit twice, completely damaged. And that seems to be the case. Regardless if you have glass, you have the wooden planks that go back up, and then they're vandalized again, either with tags or you have protesters that are trying to rip it down. And it's unfortunate because you have so many businesses across the country that have opened up, like Walmart, CVS, Apple, those are the larger ones, and then they've had to shut back down because of the protests. So you can understand, you talked about that, the anguish and the pain that a lot of these small business owners must be feeling right now is unimaginable. Back to you.
And worse, because it seemed like it was organized looting, well organized, with tools to rip off the boards off the front of the buildings. That's outrageous.
Well, yeah. If you look at how big this is, Stu, like this is not easy to pull down.
No, they use tools to do it deliberately.
Okay.
All right. Christina, thank you very much indeed. Good report right there. All right, President Trump, now he's placing the blame for the riots, at least in part, on Antifa and other far-left groups. Take a listen to this.
The memory of George Floyd is being dishonored by rioters, looters, and anarchists. The violence and vandalism is being led by Antifa and other radical left-wing groups who are terrorizing the innocent, destroying jobs, hurting businesses, and burning down buildings.
Then the president tweeted this: the United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Moments from now, the president will be meeting with Attorney General Bill Barr at the White House. I want to bring in Gabriel Nadales, a former Antifa member. You applaud the president for looking to take this action, designating your former group as a terrorist group. When you were a member, what kind of terrorist activities, as you might describe them, were you taking part in?
Well, look, Antifa is a completely different organization than even when I was part of it, because I attended a lot of protests and a lot of different things. Never a riot, but there was still definitely some things that I don't like to really talk about too much.
Okay.
But what we're seeing now is that Antifa has become so emboldened that they don't care. And if you look around the country, some of the first cities that started rioting were places like Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and Los Angeles, Portland. All of these places where Antifa has been allowed to organize for the last several years. So I'm incredibly happy that President Trump has finally, and his administration are finally taking the threat of Antifa seriously. And I've been calling for some sort of action like this for over a year now. In fact, last year I wrote an op-ed on FoxNews.com saying enough was enough. Declare Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. And I think this label will finally help us combat Antifa where it lives.
Do you know for a fact that Antifa is not one main group, but a sort of an umbrella organization for lots of other groups? Is that accurate?
That is 100% accurate. A lot of people think that Antifa is this well-organized group that has a president, leadership, lieutenants, all of these things. But it's much more complex than that. It is more of a movement. And not everybody who is part of Antifa necessarily has to wear the black mask and are part of riots. To be part of Antifa is to really do two things. To fight against, quote-unquote, all fascists, and at the same time be willing to actually do direct action, which means meeting them on the street, doxing them, and doing all these other criminal acts for a political purpose. Antifa's acts are the very definition of domestic terrorism.
Do they move around the country? Are they capable of moving people from here to there, and bricks and Molotov cocktails, assembling stockpiles of them? Are they capable of doing that?
I think that they are, and as we've seen, there were some reports from the governor of Minnesota. He said that a lot of the people in his state were actually coming from around surrounding states. So I think that we have a lot of different examples where Antifa organizers and activists, and now terrorists, they're going from state to state around the country just to organize these type of riots. And I mean, to be fair, not everybody in these protests are part of Antifa.
Sure, no.
There's a lot of anger going on right now, and a lot of it is justified. But if you look at some of the violence, it's being instigated by anarchists and by Antifa activists, not by the peaceful protesters who are rightfully angered at what happened.
Gabriel Nadales, thank you very much for sharing this with us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you.